So welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is John with SwingFit. So are you a little tired of watching one video after the next, one review after the next, to only walk away with the same realization? And that's everything is freaking awesome. I mean, heck, do you recall a time where you actually watched a bad review? I mean, if everything truly was super, super awesome and it can help you hit the ball straighter, farther, drop your score, lower your handicap, then I can definitely guarantee you this one thing. Club fitting today would not exist. You could just buy something off the shelf, go direct through the manufacturer and order it from their website. But it's not that easy, and in today's video, I'm going to share the 5 best truths about club fitting that everybody should know and how it could potentially be the difference maker to help you protect the investment you're thinking about making. So without further delay, let's jump in. Now, before we get too deep into today's topic, I have a quick poll for any of our returning viewers. So what did you guys think about our brand new intro segment? You know, we've been using the same intro / B-roll since we've started. So are you a fan of the old one or the new one? Just leave your comments in the remarks below. And if you are a fan of the new one and you've been thinking about doing this with your logo, then I'll leave a link in the description of who you can contact. In regards to any of our new viewers, or if this happens to be your first time, then definitely please consider hitting the subscribe button below and turn on the notification so that way you don't miss out on any of the cool content that we are creating. So now let's roll up our sleeves to talk about those 5 club fitting truths that everybody should know about. And this first one really should be made a higher priority, and that's the golf shaft really does matter. Heck, I might even go as far to say that if it was just as simple as picking a golf shaft based off of its flex and weight, I mean, our job would be 100 times easier and we would be able to get people in and out the door so that way we can do more fits. But it's never that easy because there are so many other ingredients or variables that a club fitter is going to analyze, such as the overall bend profile, right? So how stiff is that shaft in the handle versus the midsection versus the tip section? How stable is that golf shaft based off of how fast you swing it? How you swing it fast will determine, you know what, where do we need that stiffness located, right? I mean, these are just all things that we're going to take into consideration when we are mixing these things up. And please never lose sight of this, is that sometimes a club fitter may go heavier weight and step you down in flex, and heck, he might even go, you know, a little lighter in weight and step you up in flex just to find the right balance. And these are all tricks of the trade of what a club fitter can do in order to help you determine what shaft is best for you. And the 2 most effective ways to determine if a golf shaft is a good fit is simply to assess the quality of the strike point as well as to evaluate when the club is releasing. Because if we know by nature the golf shaft's role is to load and unload, we must get it to unload and release when we need it the most, and that's through the strike zone. So if the shaft is releasing too late, too early, or worse yet, not at all, we know that is an indicator of the shaft not working well with the technique being applied. Now, in regards to assessing the quality of strike, all you need is a can of Dr. Scholl's foot spray, spray your face, hit a series of shots and see what your stamp pattern looks like. If it looks anything like this, then that's a red flag that there's something going on and that shaft has a mind of its own and it's almost going to be next to impossible to get any type of consistency. As long as we remember that we're trying to tighten up that dispersion to improve that stamp pattern as well as getting that golf club to load and unload where it matters the most, the golf shaft can help, and your club fitter is your best source of truth in order to help you determine that. Truth point number 2 is please make sure you take the time to understand what are your ideal launch and spin windows. So please hear me out. There's really no such thing as a one-size-fits-all solution. So if you happen to be chasing 13 degrees of launch and 2,500 RPMs of spin with your driver, you just might be doing yourself a disservice because there are certain situations where I might want to move the spin a little higher than 2,500 versus that of a little lower than 2,500. And usually this will be predicated on not only how fast the customer swings the golf club, but also their delivery conditions themselves. So are you hitting down on a ball versus versus hitting up on a ball. And these two factors alone would likely lead me down a path of choosing one head over another. So do I go lower loft, higher loft, 9 degrees turned up, 10 degrees turned down? Do I go with a different type of CG characteristics? Hell, do I even use the golf shaft to influence the final dynamic loft position? I mean, these are all tricks of the trade of how a club fitter can potentially move you in one direction or the other, and the only way to really know for certain is through the use of a launch monitor. So by seeking out the guidance of a club fitter to analyze your numbers as we make these small changes could potentially be the difference maker to find out which direction we need to go. Truth point number 3 is, how are we able to improve your maximum energy transfer? And there's no secret that if we're ever going to help our customers hit the ball as far as we possibly can, we need more ball speed. It's just that simple. And some of the things we've already talked about can play a vital role with improving that energy output, such as the golf shaft and helping you find center of face where max ball speed lives. Maybe going with a little lower loft to prevent that glancing blow to get a little bit more of a piercing, penetrating ball flight, and playing around with the CG characteristics just to line that sweet spot up directly behind the sweet spot of the golf ball. Once again, these are all different ways a club fitter can actually help improve your energy transfer. And depending on the system you are using, if you're using a camera-based system, 145 to 146 is ideal. And if you're using a radar-based system, 150 to 151 would be the ideal smash factor rating that you're searching for. But there is one other way to improve your speed output, and it doesn't have anything to do with the gear. What I'm talking about are 3 key delivery characteristics that can also impact how much speed you're able to produce, with none more important than that of dynamic loft. And for obvious reasons, we already know that if we add loft to a driver, we can increase spin, but having too much dynamic loft at the moment of impact would only do you more harm and actually reduce how much energy you are able to produce. So being able to keep that in the ideal range would be advantageous. But do you know what the ideal range is? And not, here's a quick general rule of thumb to follow. And simply all you're going to do is take the static loft of your existing golf club and then add 6 to 7 to it. So if you have a 10-degree loft to driver, your ideal dynamic loft window would be 16 to 17. And it doesn't necessarily mean that 15 or 18 wouldn't work. It just means that we're starting to get outside of that optimum range. And once you get to 19 and 20, you are definitely going to see a huge impact in speed production. Now, the last 2 delivery characteristics, and arguably probably the most important because these are the areas that we see that impacts more of our customers than anything else, would be that of swing direction, the customer's club path, and the face-to-path relationship. And what we have found that works the best for our customers is trying to get their club path in a range of 3 to 4 degrees. So if you're trying to pull that nice little right to left draw, then you want to be swinging about 3 to 4 degrees in to out. And if you're trying to pull off the fade, then you want a 3 to 4 degrees out to in path. In regards to the face-to-path relationship, simply cut it in half. So if your path is 4 degrees into out, I want my face-to-path relationship to be half of that, so 2 degrees closed. And it's just that simple. And if you follow this simple formula, and if you have access to launch monitor to really dial that in, you would definitely be doing yourself a big, big favor. Now, what happens if, say, your club path is 8 degrees into out? Does that mean that you're never going to have a fighting chance to hit a good shot? No, as long as you still follow the simple formula, you cut the path in half and get the face closed 4 degrees, you're still going to hit a pretty decent shot. It's just going to have a little bit more curvature and it will impede the distance because it's just not going to have enough energy transfer. So guys, if you follow this, I'm promising you, you will definitely see some pretty amazing results. Truth point number 4 is the gear by itself will never be the silver bullet. And I'm never afraid to share this with our customers, especially when they go through the fitting process. I'd rather manage their expectations up front to let them know that the gear will only account for one side of the coin. The other half will come down to technique. And as we already discussed, we already know that technique does play a vital role when not only helping you optimize your launch and spin conditions, but it can also help you hit the ball a little bit farther by being able to get the club in the right slot to produce a little extra energy transfer. It's just that important. And heck, I might even go as far to say that there won't be a single fitting that I will not do where technique doesn't enter into the equation. But there is one big difference between the advice that we share in the fitting bays versus that of what you might receive from a swing coach. So think of any of the advice you receive from a club fitter to be more like salt and pepper on a steak. It's really meant to enhance the flavor of the steak, not necessarily to change the dynamics of the steak. And that is really the big difference. So I'm talking about like some small refinements or adjustments to your technique, like a minor grip change, maybe a tee height adjustment, or maybe a ball position change to get you to hit down on the ball or hit up on the ball, or heck, maybe even planting the right seed to actually help you stay in the box to prevent you from swaying off of the ball in the backswing or getting the chest too far forward in the downswing. So guys, these are all common mistakes that we see a lot of our customers make, and we're not afraid to offer this advice, but please understand that not all club fitters are created equal, so your club fitter might not feel comfortable with offering this advice, or they may have a zero technique policy and only focus on the gear alone. And there's really nothing wrong with that as long as you know that in advance. So definitely check with your fitter to see if this is a service that they are willing to provide, because if so, from our personal experience, we really found this to work in our customers' favor, because not only can we address the gear side of the coin, but we can also just offer those small adjustments to make the technique just a little bit better. Last but certainly not least is truth point number 5, and that is custom club fitting is expensive. Now, don't get me wrong, for many, many years, I would have debated this topic or spent a lot of time trying to explain why we were more expensive, but as of recently, I'm no longer afraid to have this conversation and tell our customers up front that we are more expensive. It's just that simple. And the reason why we are more expensive than that of what you can get online or through the direct retailers is that when you leave the studio with the products we built for you, you can take it to the bank that those are going to be the exact specs we identified during the fitting session. I mean, that's the whole level of getting custom fit, is to make sure that what you leave with was what you got fit for, and that is considered to be a premium level service. And I'm no longer feeling guilty with charging that premium because I know I'm protecting my customer's investment, although it may be a little bit more expensive. So if you're looking for your best deal or your best bargain on your next set of golf clubs, going the custom club fitting path might not be the best route for you, and you can definitely shop it around and find something a little cheaper online. But please understand that what you end up with just might be a little different than that of what we identified during the fitting session. So those are our 5 best truths about club fitting, and at least now we hope you have a little better understanding how club fitting can help you play a little better golf. So should you have any questions or comments, do me a favor, leave them in the remarks below, and I'll do my very best to help you find the answers that you're searching for. So until next time, don't forget to take a look at one of these videos over here, because there just might be a couple golden nuggets that can help you take your game to another level. So thanks again for watching.